If you're currently in a job search, do you find yourself even more and more and more confused the longer your search goes on? If that's the case, this video is for you. Today, we are going to talk about the two different types of job searches that are out there: the traditional job search of applying over and over via job boards, and a strategic and authentic job search, and what the difference is between the two of them. If you are in a job search, this is for you. We at Optimize Career Solutions, my name is Kara Dennison. I'm an SPHR certified human resources professional and an executive career coach. My husband is my co-partner. He is also an executive career coach. And we talk to hundreds and hundreds of professionals every single year that are in a job search and they are struggling. And if you're in a job search, you might find that you're struggling too. And here's the reality. No one really talks to you about how to conduct a real job search in today's market. The last time you probably had a good conversation about this is back when you were graduating from college and they set you up with your guidance counselor and they set you up with a one-page resume and said, good luck, right? And then no one really taught you how to network, how to tell your story, unless you're trying to gather all of this information from these types of places like YouTube or TikTok, right? And when you go out into the real world and you go into interviews, you realize, hey, I'm really good at my job, but I'm not really good at telling people how good I am at my job. And that's where we come in. This is something that I am super passionate about. I realized being a corporate recruiter and HR professional that people going through the traditional process of applying online, it was almost a failing game that they were setting you up for. And the people that were getting hired were the ones that were actually circumventing that process. And so I can tell you over and over again how many times we've spoken to people that are in a job search. They've been in a job search for way too long. And some of the consequences of being in a job search, especially after the pandemic. And please, if this is you in your job search, let me know in the comments about if this resonates with you. You are feeling stagnant in your job. You have a terrible boss. There's no growth anymore. Maybe something has happened in your company, like a merger or an acquisition or a leadership change. And you realize, hey, I am no longer aligned with where I am right now in my company. So you're like, hey, I am ready to find my next step in my career. And so what you end up doing is you get your old resume out, shine it up, right? And that's your first struggle, right? How do I write about myself and how do I convey to people what I've been doing in my last job? Because every single day I just show up and I do my job and I know I'm good at it, but I don't know how to tell people that I'm good at it. So you pull up your old job description, you copy and paste those bullet points in there, you make a couple of tweaks and you go, all right, wish me luck, right? Then you go to the job boards, whether it's LinkedIn, Indeed, Career Builder, Glassdoor, Monster, ZipRecruiter, and all the specialty job boards out there, and you start finding jobs that you would like to apply to. Now, that in and of itself is frustrating because sometimes those requirements, you know you can do the job, but they're asking for basically a PhD for an entry-level job, right? And that feels a little frustrating, right? But you apply anyways because you know you can do that job. You apply and then you apply again to another job and again and again and again. And all that you're getting and what you're collecting in your inbox is automatic rejection letters. You're not even getting a personal rejection letter. And that's on a good side, right? Because a lot of times you're just getting ghosted. You're not getting any response whatsoever. And so what you're collecting right now, besides the automatic rejections, is a lot of mindset issues, a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of rejection, a lot of feeling inadequate. Feeling like, do I need to take a step back? Do I got to stay in my crappy job? Am I going to have to deal with this crap that I'm putting up with my terrible toxic boss for the rest of my career? Because it doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere in these job boards. So what you do next is you start Googling, how do I beat these applicant tracking systems? How do I get my resume even seen by someone? And that's when you start finding there's some tricks to beat the algorithm keyword stuffing your resume, things like that. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about that process. This is the traditional job search process of getting your resume together, applying online, and crossing your fingers and hoping that it gets seen. The problem with that, and I've worked on the back end as a corporate recruiter implementing an applicant tracking system, is that those applicant tracking systems are set up to help recruiters. The reason why they're set up to help recruiters is that recruiters are recruiting for anywhere between 10 at a very minimum up to 20 or 30 jobs at any given time. They also get hundreds of applicants per job. And so that's a sheer number of resumes that they are looking at every single day. And so those systems are designed to scan your resume, see if it matches up to the job description, and only present to the recruiters the ones that match up to the job description. But if we zoom out a little bit more than that, who is creating those job descriptions? You would hope that it's the hiring manager, but most times it's actually someone in HR and they're getting approval from the hiring manager, we hope, right? And those HR teams, which I love, I was an HR recruiter and I was an HR professional, still am, but they are creating a job description based on someone who is fully competent in their role, up to speed 100%, and can do the job, right? And you as an applicant, you absolutely cannot do the job on day one. There's getting to know the company, getting to know the products, getting to know the services, getting to know the team. There's onboarding and all of that other stuff. So already, if we're talking about this traditional job search process, you can see there's a lot of points of failure along the way, right? Hey, I am trying to apply to jobs that these job descriptions are not even created by the person hiring me. So the requirements might not even be completely accurate. Then I got to go and apply with hundreds of other people that are using tips and techniques to beat the system. So I'm hoping I can get seen by a recruiter who again is not the hiring manager and who doesn't know exactly what they're looking for when it comes to actually being in the job, like the decision maker would know, right? So that seems really frustrating. And the results are that if that's your strategy, right? If this is your strategy, whether you use all of the AI tools, the keyword stuffing, all of this stuff, you still only have a 1% to 2% chance of landing interviews. And I haven't even talked about ghost jobs, where 50% of hiring managers have been quoted in a study saying that they put out ghost job postings just to make their companies look better and to help with discontent in their teams and a lot of other reasons, right? And talking about how you can convey your value to recruiters, right? So all of this is a huge problem with the traditional hiring process and the mindset issues that come with it. So now you're feeling really rejected. But what I'm here to tell you is it's not you, it's the system, right? So that's kind of what you're up against when it comes to your job search right now. You are with thousands of other people fighting for jobs that may or may not be accurate to go talk to a recruiter who may or may not understand your full value. And you only will get about a 1% to 2% chance of landing that interview if that's your only strategy. That's a lot. And this is all under the assumption that you are crystal clear on what you want to do next and that your branding, your resume, and your LinkedIn absolutely shows that clarity. But the fact is that we've spoken to hundreds of people every single year, and most people don't know what they want to do next in their career. And so they start applying to everything. And what does that lead? Now, not only are your chances so minimum, but now you're creating confusion into who you are and what you want to do next in your career. So if a recruiter gets one resume and goes to your LinkedIn and sees something completely different, well, you're getting in the rejected pile. So this seems really bleak if you are thinking about going into a job search, right? But there is another way to do it. There is another way for you to move forward in your career and land a job where you are actually aligned and happy at the company that you land at, and you're doing what you do best. And you don't have to go through all of this crap in the traditional job search where you can actually start talking to decision makers. And that's what we focus on. We focus on a strategic and authentic job search. What does that mean? What does a strategic and authentic job search means? Well, it means first, figuring out who you are authentically and gaining clarity in that next step in your career. Because that's sometimes the hardest part. Because if you are not clear in who you are, the value you can provide, and what that next step looks like for you, if you cannot clearly articulate that in your resume, in your LinkedIn, in your interviews, in your networking calls, how can other people know exactly how to pitch you or promote you to hiring managers or advocate for you? Because the fact of the matter is, and let's just give you a stat here, those applications that you're submitting in a traditional job search, that's actually the third way that companies go and look for candidates. The first way, if there's an open job, is that they're going to look for internal candidates first. Of course, right? You can just move someone into a new role, give them a bit of an increase, give them a title change, doesn't cost them any money. The second way is employee referrals. Why is this so important? Employee referrals are statistically, reports after reports after reports have shown that employee referrals are the best hires that a company can make. Why? Because an employee referral shows that, hey, I'm an employee, I'm recommending someone, which means they're going to be a friend. They already have a friend here at the office, which means, and studies show that when you have a friend at your current workplace, you're more likely to stay. So tenure goes up. Two, right? The second reason is that friend that is referring someone has already told that person about the culture, about the work. So that new hire is already kind of well versed and onboarded into your company and the culture as it is, right? And three, employee referrals have been shown to stay longer and be more productive. So companies are going to look inside, then they're going to look at employee referrals. And then they're actually going to look for recruiters or networks, people who are being referred in that aren't necessarily employee referrals, but that they're meeting at networking events and things like that. And then they're going to look at people who actually apply. So if you're applying and you're doing this traditional job search and you're applying and you're crossing your fingers and you're being like, please, I hope that someone calls me back, you're being overlooked by people who are being referred in. So with an authentic and a strategic job search, you can actually capitalize on this. One, get your branding and your LinkedIn honed towards that next step of your career so that when a hiring manager, a recruiter, a decision maker looks at your resume or looks at your LinkedIn, they know exactly what roles you would be best in. Don't set yourself up for a Jack or Jill of all trades scenario. Be very specific in the value that you can bring and the impact that you have made in your career. If you don't know how to do this, that's why resume writers exist. That's why I love what I do. I will write your resume for you. And the reason why I am so good at what I do is because I've done this for 5,000 plus people. Two, I have a unique ability to be able to really listen to you, what you've done, and see your potential from an outside perspective and be able to see paths forward for you and really write your resume and your LinkedIn towards that path that you want to go down. Because I've done this so many times and because it's what I'm really good at, I'm able to do that. And I've worked with people in 21 different industries in so many different roles that I'm able to use my knowledge and my experience to help you towards another path, right? And third, writing about yourself sucks. I've written 5,000 plus resumes and the hardest one I've ever had to write is my own because I'm not able to really see my whole picture because I'm inside of my frame, right? Just like it might be for you. So one, gain clarity on where you're going and make sure that it showcases on your resume and your LinkedIn. Now, that's the first big hurdle. The second big hurdle is really making sure that you are getting out of that traditional job search that everyone is going. And you want to be the salmon swimming upstream, right? Instead of everyone else going downstream. You want to go and talk to the people who actually know what they need in a new hire because they're the ones doing the job because they have an empty role on their team. which is the hiring managers, and not be wasting all of your time towards this traditional job search just to get to a recruiter. How do you do that? Well, it's networking. And I know as soon as I said networking, I probably lost some people. They clicked off of this video, and that's okay. But those who are sticking around, I have spoken to hundreds and thousands of job seekers and professionals and leaders, from people working at startups, people just a couple years out of their career, all the way up to C-level executives at Fortune 100 companies. And 90% of people are terrified of networking. But here's the real truth about networking. Networking is, by definition, two people coming together and sharing information. That's it. You are probably networking every single day of your life. Now, if you don't know how to network, good news. I've broken down networking in a very, very simple 5-part framework. I have a networking blueprint course that is under $200 on my website, optimizedcareers.com, where I will teach you how to network, including scripts to send on LinkedIn to ask people to network with you. And then I give you my networking framework on how to have a great networking call. Every single person that I've worked with in a coaching capacity one-on-one was terrified, 90% of them terrified to network. By the time they learn this process, they have told me, I can't believe, Kara, how many people actually want to help me and talk to me. So if you are scared to do this, one of the things that I will tell you is that networking is one of those soft skills that if you learn how to do it, it will not just help you get that next step of your career, but it will help you advance your career for the long term, because you're adding people to your network, you are making connections, you are learning how to talk about yourself and your story and your impact. And this is going to set you up for success for the rest of your career, especially because 90% of people will not do it, don't like to do it. So if you can, you are beating all of the people who are stuck in the traditional job search, and you are also beating all the people who refuse to network. This is how you get jobs. This is how you capitalize on that employee referral, and you ask for people to refer you into these jobs because you've made that connection. How do you do it? 1, being authentic, knowing exactly who you are, the impact you bring, where you're headed. And 2, being strategic. Having a framework, having a blueprint on how to find the right people, what to say to get them to connect with you, what to say when you are connected with them, and then furthermore, how to tell your story once you're in those interviews. That's what we do. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it's not just about getting your next job. It's about securing the skills in order to set you up for long-term career success. Why am I so passionate about this? Well, after suffering 2 burnouts in my career, I know what it's like to work in a job, in a company that you are not aligned with. And it affects the rest of your life. It affects your relationships, it affects your mental health, your physical health. It is damaging. And your career truly affects the rest of your life. If you are not financially secure and healthy, then you can't be productive at your job, right? And like I said, it affects the rest of your life. And so I am extremely passionate about helping people find the right fit in their career, because I've seen the fact that once they do that, they are now taking care of their Maslow's hierarchy of need. They're feeling fulfilled. They're making an impact at their job, and the rest of their life is now able to be taken care of, and they are able to have a better, more fulfilling life. The problem is that the job search, the way that everyone tells you to do it, does not set you up for success. By being authentic, by being strategic, by setting yourself up and learning the skills in order to network and be strategic and authentic, you can actually advance in your career so much faster and land jobs that you are actually aligned with, instead of just taking whatever actually comes through those applicant tracking systems. This is something that we are extremely passionate about. Like I said, we can help you. This is coming from my experience being on the inside as a corporate recruiter who has implemented an applicant tracking system, knows how they work, and has helped write 5,000 plus resumes, has helped negotiate $12 million in salary increases, and has coached hundreds and hundreds of executives, leaders, and professionals to land their dream job. We really want to help If you want to have a free consultation with either myself or my husband, Jack, we do offer those as well. We'll drop the link in the description down below. It's going to be getstarted.optimizedcareersolutions.com so that you can speak with us and find out how we can support you in not just landing your next job, but really having an aligned and supported career. I wish you all the best. I hope that you stay subscribed to Optimized Career Solutions, where we're going to be talking about not just job search stuff, tips, best practices, but also how, if you are a leader or going into leadership, how you can be the best leader. As you all know, people don't quit jobs, they quit leaders, right? And so if you are planning on becoming a leader, how do you develop your leadership skills? How are you a good self-leader, right? To be able to manage some of these emotions and things that you're going through in your life and in your world so that you can effectively lead a team to be the most productive and engaged and loyal to you, right? So this is something that we're really passionate about. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss any great videos. And let me know down in the comments if you are struggling in a traditional job search and what resonated with you from this video. I'll see you soon.